So we are going to be canning some beef stew right now. Is what we're going to do. So what do you do when you wait for your first grandchild to be born? Well, I am going to can some meals for the kids to use after I go back home. Currently, I'm in Tennessee. I live in South Carolina, so this is what I'm going to do. By the way, hi, I'm Melanie. I'm from Silvershed Homestead. Thank you for watching us this evening. Got to do something to pass the time. So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be canning some beef stew. I've got 3 jars here ready. I've already cleaned them, got everything done, and I've got my other vegetables and seasoning and everything prepped, so this will go pretty quickly. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my beef, which is I just bought beef that's been pre-cut. You can buy a roast of some sort and cut it up and put it in there. This is a ball recipe, by the way. Ball recipe calls for a pound of beef. I don't quite put a pound of beef in there because we find that we just don't like it with quite as much meat in it. And to be honest with you, a lot of times I just have to make my meat go a little bit farther. So these are feeding 2 adults with each jar. So I think they'll be plenty good with about 3/4 of a pound, half a pound. Okay, so first I've divided my meat up amongst my jars, and now I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup of potatoes. And the potatoes I've just cut into bite-sized chunks. And it's about 1 small potato per jar. That's what it is. Mediums to small potatoes. Definitely not a large potato. I have a couple of pieces left over here, so I'm just going to divide those between the jars. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the carrots. It's about a 1/2 cup of carrots. Carrots, it's about 2 regular sized carrots in each jar is what it is. I still have 3 pieces of potato. Divide those up. And I'm going to put about 1/4 cup of diced celery in each jar. Celery's cut a little bit smaller. We don't like big chunks. Okay, for spices, we have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of thyme, a garlic clove sliced, and 1 bay leaf. This goes into 1 jar. So the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of salt. Our family doesn't like that much salt. We're just not a salty family. So most of us are pretty sensitive to salt with blood pressure and stuff too. So we do a 1/2 teaspoon. That does not affect the ability for this to be canned. This works just perfectly fine. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to get a can of peas. Now what I use, I'm just using store brand sweet green peas. I'm draining the liquid out. Now, the recipe doesn't call for the peas. It won't affect the ability to be canned, though, because they've already been cooked. There are other recipes that I have used that call for the peas, so I feel perfectly comfortable making this substitution, which is what we usually do. We fill up more with vegetables than we do extra meat. And then we also want a half a cup of onion. And don't think these are over full, because we're going to have to debubble in just a minute too. And so, trust me, there's extra, I don't know if you can see, but there's space down here at the bottom of the jar that all we'll get it all down in there. So, even though they look like they're over full, they won't be. Okay. Now, we're going to need 1 cup of red wine. Cabinet door drives me crazy. Okay. And I'm going to put 1 cup into, oh, it's a half a cup. It's a half a cup per one. Per jar. Half a cup. Okay. The nice thing about having these canned like this is that my daughter-in-law will be able to, or my son, either one, will be able to open these up, throw them into a pan, heat it up, add 2 tablespoons of flour to it while it's cold, whisk that in, heat it for 10 minutes until it boils and thickens, and then their dinner will be ready, which is going to work out great for them because they're having a baby tonight, and in about 10, 12 days, my son is having some hip surgery done. So, new baby, husband having surgery, she's going to have her hands full. She doesn't need any more than she's going to have. So, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and fill these up with some beef stock. I just have store brand beef stock. And I'm going to fill up to about 1 inch headspace, maybe a little bit less, until I debubble it. I know it's crazy. I brought my canner all the way from South Carolina to Tennessee just so that I could do this for them, because I felt like it would be really important to do. Usually when I come down here, I cook for them and do different stuff, so this was just as easy. When I went to the grocery store, I just picked up the ingredients that I needed to make it, but I brought my canner with me and some jars so that it would be ready. Now, you see that's right at 1 inch headspace, and my onions are down in there. Everything's all good. I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of these. perfect on the headspace there. Good job. Get these debubbled and down there real good. Nice. Now, I have done this for my family before, and we have taken it on trips, been able to take the Instapot with us, toss this in the Instapot, put the flour in, stir it up real good, start the Instapot on saute, cook it for about 10 or 15 minutes until it gets thick. Instant dinner in the hotel room, save money, works great. Okay, only thing left to do is to wipe these rims and put the lids on. And then I'm going to can these. They have to be pressure canned because it is a low acid food. And this will be pressure canned for 90 minutes. And at our altitude, we are right here. We're about 500 feet above sea level, which still works out to be 10 pounds for 90 minutes for the quart jars. So, let me get my tongs. Now, I still like to do the old method of simmering my lids. I find that what it does is it plumps the rubber on the seal up really good. And the only time that I've had a seal fail, do you see how it doesn't have the line in there? The only time I've had a seal fail this year has been when I didn't do it. Just because they seem to, in transit, kind of almost vacuum seal themselves. I guess it's probably from the heat and stuff that they travel in. But, so I just find it's easier to go ahead and simmer them. So, this is the beef stew. I'm going to put it in the canner. And I'm going to, on my next video, I will be doing beef stroganoff. So, look us up. Thank you for joining us with Silverstead Homestead. I got a grandbaby on the way. I'm just passing time. Thanks, friends.